Oh no, Odin is no good. Major community members are leaving the game sadly, and is Odin bugged in tier 8 gauntlets? Hello everybody, welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news show for Wednesday. I hope you're all doing very well. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe with post notifications on, or we've got quite a few stories to go over in today's news video. And as well, a lot of other videos dropping today. I'm thinking I'm actually going to be doing a Marvel Future Revolution video. Some gameplay has dropped for Iron Man, so that's going to be some pretty hype stuff. So make sure to keep locked to the channel and as well on Discord. Links in the description down below. But before going anywhere, I just want to give a massive thank you to my current YouTube members and patrons. You're on screen at the moment. Thank you so much for keeping the ongoing support, especially during these old funky times that we're living in. Also, those that support over on twitch.tv/RichTheMan Live, those that do the free sub, the Prime Gaming sub a month, thank you so much. Also, those that do tier 1 subs, give bits, and as well, those that donate and gift as well, those subs and those tier 1 subs, thank you so much for the support. But let's begin by talking about Odin. So, yeah, what a bit of a disappointment with the champ. I don't know, that I've had some good experimentation with rotations. I do think the champion is very much reliant on Heimdall and as well as having Mangog to kind of get the ramp up of the SP2. If you haven't seen my video, please go and see it because, you know, getting huge amounts of damage and burst direct damage is actually pretty cool. And hopefully it's a case that people see him in a different light. But as I said, there's still the limitations of the champion not being as solely, you know, you can take him singly and find you're doing a lot more. It's like Cosmic Ghost Rider in comparison. It's just not, it's just not on the same level, which is just so disappointing, honestly. I'll be doing a full video breakdown later on about how I feel I could improve, or how I feel Kabam could improve Odin, especially from damage outputting quite more extensively than he is. And as well, looking at the whole kind of thing about the Odin sleep, which I just go like, what? What is Odin? Like, what's the point of Odin sleep? It's just so stupid. But in any case, as I said, I'll be addressing that fully in another video. And as well, like, people are really talking about the problems. Like what we as a community really hoped for Odin was just not there. I mean, when I was playing the champion, as I said, there are some kind of good elements if you are able to keep up a huge amount of buffs. But it is a case you can only really use him for one particular fight, and then after that, it's the difference between you being able to use a rank 2 6-star version and clear with 60 hits, and then when you go into the next fight, it's like 140 hits on a rank 2 6-star. It's just not comparable. It's just not. It's just not, why? Oh dear, Odin sleep. Why? Why, Kabam? Also saw this in, I don't know why people are complaining about the Odin sleep. He does that in the comics all the time. The difference is when he does that in the comics, it's a case of like, right, well, he's going to be replenished from god tier damage. It's not a case he goes like, okay, well, one fight I'm on, one fight I'm off. In any case, full video breakdown will be later on today, where we'll go over how to improve the champion, looking at Odin sleep, but also looking at just like where they're going wrong with the abilities, and also the top end of damage improvement. So more to talk about this later on today. Next up, and unfortunately there is no further update as it stands on the overcompensation of the tier 10 availability for those that were able to do the gauntlets. So if you don't know, we covered this on Monday and yesterday when this update, but unfortunately there's nothing more to go on. I really don't think that Kabam will update us until next week, or at least it comes close to that 30th of March threshold where we all get the opportunity for tier 10 quests, because that's the thing, people were able to get into tier 10 quest as of tomorrow, and then it's a case like we have to wait until 30th of March. So at the moment, nothing's been said. Also, I like this. Dear mods, I agreed with the temp measures, but can you broadcast it via in-game message? That would be helpful. It seems not many people are aware of it. Maybe content creators can broadcast it too. Maybe they could. Maybe I've done now 2 videos on it. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to the RichTheMan channel. Post notifications on it. Follow Discord. On Discord, I post videos. Twitter post videos. You know, I make content. Believe it or not. Thanks. Next story. Moving on, and we better look at this story here about Odin being bugged in the Gauntlets Tier 8. So, for a lot of people that don't know, that particular fight has some really odd things with it. But we'll go over that in a minute. So, someone saying Power Draw doesn't seem to be working and I didn't bring a champion with buffs. So my Sunspot, who worked fine a few days ago, no longer works and neither does my Massacre. I really don't want to lose a feather due to a bug. Please, Kabam, fix this. Which is Odin bugged. So someone's saying here, yesterday I fought Odin with Sunspot and gained power gain buff for each damaging debuff on him to counter the buff up appropriately. I've seen somebody post, I think on Twitter, about ruptures in the same vein. Today I fought Odin using Sunspot, Void and Colossus, no power gains from the damaging debuffs from Sunspot or Void, which led to no damage. And Colossus wasn't dealing damage when he had 3 armor ups until I revived him. Has something changed in the last day? It does really seem that there seems to be an issue around power draw, and we're going to cover a little bit when it comes to response from Kabam in a second. Some people are pointing out the way that strength in numbers is interacting, and maybe it's kind of like being a bit too overbearing on what's going on if you've got any champions knocked out. But then that could be completely null and void if you then look at power draw being the overarching thing that maybe it's just not being implemented or developed correctly for this particular interaction. So yes, very annoying. Now obviously for this interaction it's quite obvious that you would need to gain a buff, many buffs in order to use buffed up. You need to be buffed up in order to do damage. But at the same time, power draw is meant to allow you to get that power gain buff in order to do the damage. As it says, whenever attack inflicts defender with a damaging debuff, the attacker is granted a power gain buff, increasing defense combat power rate by 10% for 10 seconds. But it doesn't give any kind of indication whether or not it will be stackable. And as well, in the same kind of like situation of the interaction, which you can see on screen with this Venom fight, there's no power gain buff, even though there was some bleed debuffs on the enemy. So that's really the kind of the point of this, because I know some people are kind of derailing their line of questioning. And this then leads into the issue of the matter. As of yesterday, this was the response on it. We're sorry to hear that some of you are running into issues. Our team will look into your reports above and let you know again when we have an update on this. Disappointing if people have lost feathers as a result. There should be compensation for this. I would say it's important to track this forum thread and as well make sure to kind of like put a support ticket, because it'd be unfair if you've gone in against broken content that hasn't been working properly. You've lost out as a result and you need to get that Uru. So that's the thing. Make sure to do that support ticket and as well keep locked to this thread. Currently there is no update against this, so we'll wait and see what happens today and ongoing. There's also a full thread on the Sunspot interaction, which a lot of players have kind of like, had their say on and kind of like, put some stuff on. So if you are experiencing issues, make sure to follow both threads, especially from like, this is power draw working as intended. You can see right here the way that it stacks. And this was tested as of later yesterday. So it may be device specific or maybe it's not. Either way, there's been no update to 100% confirm that that's working as intended, but that's what you meant to see rather than what we just saw a moment ago, which again could be device specific, or it could be a case that later yesterday it was repaired. So I need to go and do some tests today, but just to make you aware. So I saw this and I just thought that's too good not to mention. Oh god! Shout out to who's that? Who's was it Jason? iOS Jason. Man, I honestly could keep coming looking back to this all day. Oh man, where do we start with this? So we're going to be talking about a week where players are leaving the game, and yeah, what can you say? I'll go into a bit more detail of this now. Well, unfortunately, MCOC Kalantak, if you don't know, does a lot of work when it comes to 3D modeling, and has associations with the MCOC Futurism Society. Oh, it's sad to see people go that you like and do good stuff and are good members of this community, especially with like a time of like this toxicity in the community. Which I don't know if I overly see, but if people say it, I'm not going to undermine people for going like, okay, it does exist or it does not exist. Which is one of the reasons that, Otriux has decided to leave, and it's sad. It is sad to see people that have done some good things. You know, data mining stuff that Otriux has done. Then to kind of like do a lot of stuff to help out in the background. The Otriux squad Discord does a lot of decent work. Otriux is spending the smarter way of dealing with things by kind of focusing on life. And that's the thing. The same thing with like the next person we're going to like talk about that's leaving. Because it's been like a week of people leaving. He's basically going to be focusing on himself and mainly with like university and kind of like going to the next stage in life with stuff. And as well projects, because that's very important. Like a lot of the stuff that he would do with like data mining also gives him a little bit of an understanding, but wants to go further with what he wants to do in life. So yeah, I mean, respect where respect is due. And it is sad to see Otriux leave, but yeah, sad to see as well. Chronic going is a massive blow. So if you don't know, Chronic does a lot of those immunity guides. You've probably seen an infographic in the past if you kind of like go to anything that you've seen an infographic where it's got swirl, and kind of like over the top of in order to kind of like showcase immunities and as well interaction. Basically anything that looks like this is done by Chronic. And I always think that Chronic has had like an amazing handle in the way that these are delivered and as well how these help the community. So it is a massive blow to see Chronic leave. And Chronic, you know, bows up by saying, sadly, yes, I love the game and the community, but I'm so close to the job of my dreams and it's time I put all my energy into medicine. There'll always be a spot for the MCC community in my heart though. So amazing, you know, yeah, follow your dreams at the end of the day. Because it's, I don't want to say it, it's just a game, you know, it's just a game. New games come and go, communities don't stay, well, they kind of stay forever. Because they just go like, I remember that person from that community or that community that I used to play with. So yeah, it is sad to see Chronic, Kalantak, and Otriux in 1 week all, you know, bow out. Wonder who's next. That's the kind of the game we're going to be playing. So yeah, sad, but you know, respect to everybody, and moving on. And now we move on to the final story, which is all about Angela and Apocalypse Arena predictions. All my predictions are down below at the moment. I've really factored into the hype around Odin, and I feel Angela is going to go for a lot more than normal, and I think it's going to be at 35 mil. It may be the top end, and that may be a lot more than people might think, especially with a lot of my other predictions going for rerolled featured as 25 mil. But I think that with the hype that Odin will give and the improvements to that champion, and as well the awakened ability, the interaction, which is just sublime for Angela, I'm going with 35 mil. 6.2 mil, a little bit higher for the 4-star version, again down to value changes and improvements that maybe she'll be a champion that players want to get. And then Apocalypse as a basic, I'm going for 2.6 mil. I think there's still sufficient desire to have this champion, especially from a horseman's perspective. And I do think that 2.6 mil is warranted, especially with the way that Professor X went when he went in last time. I think he kind of pushed my predictions past expectations, and I think it was like the results were like 1.9 to like 2 mil. So Apocalypse is definitely going to go for 2.6. And yeah, down below, as I said, is and are the predictions, and that's it. And thank you very much for watching this edition of Marvel Contest of Champions News. Check out some recently posted content up there. Next video today will be Odin, how I would have built the champion or what I would improve with the champion. And then secondly, there may be another video which kind of looks at Marvel Future Revolution, but it may be a case that I'll say that for Thursday I need to decide. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.